good overtakes.
Oh, yeah.
Around the outside twice.
Nothing, just an incident on the race.
I am stupid.
No, Mikey, no, Mikey, that was so not right.
I'm moving up and down, side to side, like a roller coaster.
You just wait, Sunshine. You just wait.
Welcome to your Race Refresh, where we will break down the latest F1 races and news.
We'll refresh you on the weekend's Marina Bay Grand Prix and lots more, so make sure to stick around until the end.
I'm Jake.
And I'm Logan. Let's dive right into it.
Alright, so this weekend we were at Marina Bay Street Track in Singapore. The track is just over 3 miles per lap, 190 miles per race with 63 laps, 19 turns per lap, and a top speed of around 328 kilometers per hour or 203.8 miles per hour.
Break down what happened at the weekend.
Lando didn't die in the start. That's awesome. Normally, starting from pole, he just cannot get a good start. He's never been very strong with the starts, but he actually did start pulling away. And, I mean, he built up the hugest gap all this season, too. So,
30 seconds.
Yeah, it was over 30 seconds at one point, so that was awesome. I want to talk a little bit about tire wear. Obviously, in Singapore, it's going to be hot this time of year, and almost year-round a lot of the time. Tires don't do great in the hot temperatures. They wear out, so yeah.
They don't. Yeah. It's the degradation on those tires is insane.
At a lot of tracks, not just this one. That's something they constantly have to deal with. Takes over a lot of strategy and everything. Obviously, if tires stayed the same how they started through the whole race, it would be the most boring thing to watch because they wouldn't have to pit as much, and it just takes the fun out of it. So it was cool to see all the pit strategies and stuff.
Yeah.
Lewis complained a lot.
He did. He complained a lot about his tires.
Particularly in the first stint. When he switched off, it was better, but I think he was just like, I'm just going to shut up because this is not going to get better. I'm not even going to be with Mercedes next year.
Yeah, he was sliding all over. His tires weren't great. It wasn't the best weekend for Lewis on tires.
Hamilton pitted on he pits on lap 18, drops back to 13th. George was doing a lot better at that time. They've been pretty equal this season.
They have.
But, at the same time, it's whatever.
Yeah.
So Hamilton dropped behind Magnussen. Russell moved up into third, fighting Piastri. Piastri had some good overtakes.
Oh, yeah.
Around the outside twice in, I think, 2 laps. He just kept getting that move done. That was awesome. I love to see him fighting for positions. The last 2 races, he's been very, very entertaining, getting those passes. And then Azerbaijan just fending off Leclerc till, the last lap when Sainz and Perez had that crash. That was awesome.
Yeah.
That was good to see.
On lap 15, we saw Albon. He retired due to his power unit overheating.
Yeah. I hate to see Albon go down like this, especially with Colapinto now coming in.
Yeah.
We'll get into that now. So now Colapinto comes in. He's 21, I'm pretty sure. So they're around the same age group. And Albon's finally feeling pressure from a teammate since Max Verstappen years ago when they were teammates. And now he's under pressure, and he had to retire, obviously. But Colapinto is doing really good so far in the sport. And there's no seat for him. So, we're going to get 5 rookies next year with the announcement of Daniel Ricciardo being gone.
Yeah.
So, Liam Lawson, Oliver Behrman, Jack Doohan, and, all these rookies coming in. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens because at the beginning of this year, there was no driver changes from last year. And now we've seen Lewis go to Ferrari. There's just been so much that's happening this year.
It's been a heck of a year.
Yeah, it really has. McLaren's in the lead of the championship.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's amazing. I really did not expect that. I feel like Verstappen and Sergio, they're definitely falling off a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's been such an interesting year to follow who's winning.
Yeah. And former Haas team principal Gunther Steiner said on his podcast, he says he does not think that Red Bull could possibly catch up to McLaren if they keep at the rate they're going now. It's up to McLaren to make a mistake for Red Bull to actually come back and win that. As for the Drivers' Championship, Oscar Piastri needs to really fight off Max. He needs to be up there with Lando, getting a 1-2. If Lando beats out Max by 8 points for the next, I think, 6 races left, then he wins the championship. So let's talk about George Russell. He had an okay race. Mercedes has kind of been on and off this season. They've had a couple good races, a couple wins with Lewis. George got disqualified from his win, but George did a lot better than Lewis today, and with Kimi Antonelli coming in, that's what he wants. He wants to prove that he can perform and be the number one driver. All right, so Daniel Ricciardo.
It's a shame that it was his last race.
Yeah, terrible. I mean, he got the fastest lap on his last lap in F1. I remember watching it, and Lando had won. I was like, oh, Lando won, let's go. And then I see the purple thing come up on the screen. I was like, oh no, who said a fastest lap? I was like, all right, I'm fine with Danny Rick.
Yeah.
Going out with a bang, setting the lap record for the track. All right, Adrian Newey, Aston Martin.
Newey's heading to Aston Martin.
Yeah. Surprise, surprise.
He's been the chief engineer for Red Bull for how many years now?
A lot.
Red Bull's made some of the best cars recently. They are recently starting to fall off, but the past few years it's been Verstappen on top.
Yeah, Verstappen on top, Sebastian Vettel on top, Daniel Ricciardo could have been on top if he had not left.
Yeah.
Still salty about that. Yeah, they've had so many wins and so many points and so many championships recently in these past 15 years. So Adrian Newey at Aston Martin with Lance Stroll and Fernando Alonso next year. Hopefully Fernando Alonso can really perform and get up there in the top 5 drivers and maybe battle for a championship. I don't know. That would be exciting.
Yeah, it really would.
And right now, McLaren's at the top.
They are.
How about those McLarens? That's very interesting, actually.
It's definitely not something I was expecting at the start of the season.
So, is that who you have winning the championship? Who do you have?
I have Lando to win drivers and McLaren to win the constructors.
I would also have to agree with you there. I would love that as well. That would be absolutely incredible. All right, what's your crazy stat of the day? We got to get into the stats now.
So my crazy stat for the day is the fastest lap in F1 history. It was a 1:02.939 set by Valtteri Bottas in a Mercedes at the Red Bull Ring on July 4th, 2020.
So, in a couple weeks ago, Azerbaijan, Franco Colapinto was the first Argentinian F1 driver to score a point since 1982. That is a long time.
That's a very long time.
And I looked it up. Argentina has a crazy support for him. Since he got in the F1 car for the free practice, his Instagram has grown so much.
Oh wow.
I think he was at 300,000 or 400,000. Now he's over 1 million. He has more followers now than Logan Sargent does.
Oh my god.
So yeah, Argentina is really supporting this guy, which is awesome. So 2025 lineup.
Currently this year, McLaren's having a quite strong year with both Lando and Oscar. They will both likely continue into 2026.
Red Bull is to continue with Max and Checo. You know how quickly that can change. We've just seen Daniel Ricciardo get canned, so they might be able to Checo.
Ferrari has recently signed Lewis Hamilton, and Lewis will be driving with Charles Leclerc.
Yeah. How do you feel about that? You're a Lewis guy.
Because I'm hoping he'll have a better car than he did this year, but
yeah, he hasn't had a good car for since 2021. They ended up losing that year, so I mean, it'll be cool to see him back, like, driving a good car, because he was insane in his prime. I want to see him back in, like, that just state of dominance.
Yeah.
I think that would be really cool. So, speaking of Lewis, Mercedes, they're going to stick with George Russell 2025. But with Lewis going to Ferrari, obviously, they're going to get Kimi Antonelli, an 18-year-old Formula 2 prospect. He's going to fill the seat of the 7-time world champion. Tough shoes to fill.
It really is tough shoes
Yeah.
to fill.
That's like, I guess that's like Mac Jones taking Tom Brady's position. I guess that's exactly what it's like. What about Aston?
Aston Martin will drive with both Fernando and Dan Stroll for the 2025 seasons, with Stroll's contract ending in 2025 and Alonso's ending in 2026. But we both know Stroll's contract will be there if he wants to stay.
His dad owns the team. I think it would be funny if he doesn't get re-signed there.
Yeah, it would.
That would be so funny if his own dad doesn't let him keep driving for his team. VCARB, Visa Cash App Racing Bull, it's a long name. They re-signed Yuki Tsunoda, but Daniel Ricciardo is no longer. So now they got Liam Lawson, and most likely they're going to sign him for 2025. I think they were waiting to sign somebody until after they decided about Daniel Ricciardo.
Haas has signed the current Alpine driver Esteban Ocon and F2 prospect Oliver Berman, who drove for Ferrari in the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix while Carlos Sainz was out post-appendix surgery.
Yep. That also means that Williams will have 2 appendixless drivers next year. Alex Albon and Carlos Sainz.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they both had their appendix removed. Carlos Sainz more recently. Alex has had his going for a while, but that was kind of a joke when he got signed there. James Valles came on. He's like, yeah, I'm going for the guys with less weight because they don't have an appendix.
Alpine will continue with Pierre Gasly in 2025, as well as signing Jack Doohan as an official driver.
Kick Sauber has recently signed Nico Hulkenberg. Valtteri Bottas is expected to be the second driver. I saw a thing yesterday where Daniel Ricciardo, they could sign Daniel Ricciardo. Not expecting it, but that would be cool, just to keep him going in F1 as long as possible. So yeah, that's the 2025 lineup. Thank you for listening to Race Refresh. Tune in next week for our next episode. Goodbye.
Bye.